Good afternoon and welcome back to our video blog. I'm Dr. Conn and I am the chiropractor here at Back to Basics Community Clinic. Today we're going to be talking about chiropractic and kids. Um, a lot of people ask questions about, they hear from a friend that they're taking their child to a chiropractor and, they ask, what's all this about? The shock value has subsided somewhat. It's becoming a lot more mainstream. Chiropractic for adults is pretty ubiquitous throughout society now. Most people have visited a chiropractor. It was the most commonly used form of alternative therapy in healthcare last year. So chiropractic is really moving into mainstream healthcare, which is absolutely fantastic. We could always use more. But in the pediatric world, it hasn't had the same footing. And I think a lot of it is actually fear. We hear the snap, crackle, pop when we get adjusting. We think, oh my gosh, I cannot put my kid through that. And I just want to step it back a little bit to the reason why kids need to see the chiropractor and why it's my personal belief that every child should at least be checked by a pediatric chiropractor. The reason, actually, we're going to back up to the birthing process. So, as most mothers can attest, it's somewhat, it's a beautiful experience, whether it's a C-section or a vaginal birth. Absolutely the most wonderful experience of our lives. But it is one of the most significant traumas that our bodies will ever go through. Think about the process that your baby goes through to be born. Again, whether it's through an incision or through the birth canal. The baby is being compressed and it's having to do a turn going down the birth canal, and the traction used to pull the baby out of the birth canal or, like, again, out of an incision, it still takes a tremendous amount of force, averaging about 80 pounds of pressure. That's quite a lot on the cervical spine. Now, biomechanically, our spines were meant to take the force of gravity day in and day out. It's compressive force from being upright. That's the point of our spine. That's why our spines are shaped like an S. They're meant to act like a spring. So when our bodies take distraction, the opposite force that they're meant to, trauma can occur. And it's often our first subluxation, our first trauma is when we're born. So why would a child need to see a chiropractor? It's for that reason, to make sure that their blueprint, which their bones are just cartilage at that point, but there's a blueprint that must be correct. Think about building a house. If the blueprint, if the measurements are correct, if the dimensions are off, even by an inch, even by, my father would say, even a quarter of an inch, the house is not going to settle correctly and things are not going to be built as structurally sound. The same goes for our bodies. We need a strong foundation, a strong blueprint, and that starts with your spine. Now, anyone can agree that your nervous system, the nerves that take care of your muscles, your organs, they go to every gland in your body. It's really the general of our bodies. Is very important. Your nervous system is encased in the vertebral column. A lot of people think of chiropractors as bone doctors. We bone crunchers. That's actually not the case. That's our portal of entry. Those nerves, your nervous system is encased in bone. Those nerves branch out of the bone. Now think about if there was just a slight misalignment and that nerve had been compressed for 5 days, 5 months, 5 years, 5 decades. What that constant pressure on the nerve could lead to in the past, or I'm sorry, in the future. That's why to take care of those misalignments, to correct those spinal misalignments early, you can prevent so many complications that we see as adults. And that's truly my passion in pediatrics, is in preventative medicine. It's getting the nervous system to be fully functional, to be healthy, and that's really when our kids meet their full potential. My son was adjusted just a couple hours after he was born, and I can say that he is a healthy, and I'm somewhat biased, but he is a healthy kid. He's hardly sick. He is meeting his milestones so quickly. I mean, probably too quickly for me. But he is just the most fantastically adjusted child. And I really appreciate it when a parent trusts me to then have that same potential for their child. It's very gentle. When we think about a chiropractic adjustment for adults, we think of the turning of the neck and that popping sound. In an infant, it's so different. If you took your hand right now and you just applied enough pressure to where the skin turns color to where it blanches, that's about the amount of pressure it takes. Or if you've ever tested the ripeness of a tomato, same pressure. It's so gentle, and that's all it takes to adjust an infant. They don't have years of trauma holding their bones. They don't have years of bad posture and traumas to really hold things back or to navigate their systems. It's a fine system that they have. So if you have any questions about pediatric chiropractic, I would encourage you, if you want to get your kids adjusted, to really seek out a pediatric chiropractor. It's a 3-year, 360-hour program. It is an extensively trained person that's really specific in adjusting children. So I encourage you to find a chiropractor in your area. Get your kids checked. It will surprise you. You will really be surprised at the benefits that you notice right off the bat. Your questions will be answered. There's nothing left in the dark. But if you're in the Fox Valley area, feel free to give Back to Basics a call at 920-637-1084, and I will answer any and all of your questions concerning your kiddos. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.